Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with the NECA Toys Scream Ultimate Ghostface action figure. And I picked this figure up completely on a fluke. Went grocery shopping with the family. I'm trying to find that McFarlane Toys stupid Walmart exclusive Azrael Batman. So I was going down the action figure aisle. Of course, absolutely nothing. Walmart, do better. But I went over to the collectibles aisle, and this just happened. I've never seen this before, so it was just one of those fluked restock type things, and I was like, must pick up. Speaking of, if you guys do want to pick this up, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if they have it in stock. If not, then you can check out Walmart, or at the time of this recording, Dorkside Toys. And as you can see, we get that really awesome, just creepy looking Ghostface look there. I hate that it doesn't say Scream, but I'm pretty sure that's for licensing, but still, it's kind of neat. It reminds me of like a 70s horror look. Of course, NECA there. And I like the windows, but it really irks my Gurk. You can't really see it here, but some idiot decided to bend this when they were trying to open the Velcro. And it's like, but this was the only one, so I had to grab it. But I like when you open it, you get awesome product shot, and of course, see the figure with all the accessories that we will jump into here in a minute. Cool product shot there. Like the design they did here. I'll get a close-up on the read-up so you can check it out at your convenience, as well as the, what are those things called? The cool product shots here. Come back around here, same product shot there. Nothing on the bottom. So with that said, let's get Ghostface out of the packaging and get a closer look at this awesome figure. In true cliched fashion, true believers, I have to ask you, what's your favorite scary movie? I will have to say, it's more sci-fi, but it was one of the first movies that freaked me out when I was a kid, I will say, was Aliens. Now, come a couple years later, got a few more under my belt, I will have to say, in terms of the slasher genre, would be Nightmare Before Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, and for Scream, always the original. As you can see, Ghostface is out of the packaging. You get him set up right, and he looks absolutely awesome, ready to stab someone in the face and just show them what's up. I'm surprised, for this being a NECA figure, there is some great posability. What do I mean by that? Let's get Mr. Man here off the spinner, and we'll talk more in depth. I was watching Minty Comedic Arts, 10 Things You Didn't Know About Scream, and here's some fun facts I wanted to share. I'll leave a link so you can check out Minty's full video. The writer of Scream, Kevin Williamson, was also the creator of Dawson's Creek. Go figure. I mean, you can kind of see the teenage angst and whatnot, but at least he took another step in the right direction. He was inspired by the real-life 1990s Gainesville Ripper murders and his love for John Carpenter's Halloween, so heck yeah. And the original title of the film, believe it or not, was Scary Movie, but it was then changed to Scream, which I'm glad, because the original name was saved for the spoof film, and I feel like that just really flowed a lot better. Now, Drew Barrymore requested to die at the beginning of the film to shock the audience that the big-name star dies in the first 5 minutes. Also, when she calls 911 on that phone, the phone actually dialed out and police showed up at the set. And the last bit of trivia that I absolutely loved was Wes Craven played the part of Fred, the Freddy janitor at Woodsboro High. And also, I didn't know this, Sydney's address of her home in the first film was 34 Elm Street. So there's a lot of awesome little tidbits from this 1996 film. I remember when this came out when I was in, I think, 7th grade. And now that, you know, they've done 5 films, I feel so old. But yeah, guys, this is definitely the time to go kick it with your buddies or your family and just have a Scream marathon. You're going to have a heck of a good time. Now, with that said, let's talk about everything that this Ultimate figure comes with. Right off the bat, he comes with his traditional Scream mask, which apparently when they were scouting positions for the film, one of the houses they were going through, they found this mask laying around, and one of the producers or something like that said, "This is the mask," and they're like, "Well, we can't take this because we don't have the copyright." And so they tried to reproduce, did some weird stuff. Check out Minty's video. But they finally reached out to the company, bought the copyright. And as you can see, this has become a Halloween favorite since. Now, when you take the hood off, because, he comes with his whatchamadigger, his cloak, whatever you want to call it, I like that they actually sculpted the back of the head there, so it's like a full-on figure. So that's a really nice addition. I love all the nice little indentions so you can get those shadows on the mask. Speaking of mask, let's put old Ghostface here out of the way. Another traditional one with the white covered in blood, which I think looks really neat. It just adds another element to the figure. So if you're going to do photography, or if you want to just do a nice little slasher scene on your shelf, you have that blood option. That's really awesome. The other one that he comes with, and this apparently came with another figure at one point in history, I guess, was the zombie Ghostface. And I love those dark browns, the cracks, just to make the mask look old and tattered. This is going to make for some really fun photography. I really like that with those browns and blacks. It just looks awesome. Lastly, he comes with the glow-in-the-dark mask. And if I remember correctly, if not, feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. But the glow-in-the-dark mask, I think, came from the Stab, which if you guys have never seen Scream, which you haven't, go do it! There's kind of like the meta joke in the movie where they took the killings from the first Scream movie and turned it into a franchise, and they call it Stab. And Jada Pinkett Smith, I believe, was the girl date, but I can't remember who the male lead was, or not male lead, but the male character. If you guys can remember, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, they get these as promotionals for the movie, and yeah, it's a really horrific opening on what happens to the characters, but I'm glad that they included this glow-in-the-dark one. And yes, it does glow in the dark. I will admit, put this thing next up to a really bright light, let it charge for a little bit, and you're going to get some really, cool glow-in-the-dark effects. But, either A, when you have the hoodie down, or when you have the hoodie for the mask up, this mask just looks awesome when you turn off the lights. It's very horrific and just adds a nice little element of scream, if you know what I mean. Next, to get these out of the way, I'm glad that he comes with, as you can see, kind of two open hands, so you can dual wield. He does come with a third, kind of more open fisted hand there, which is always a nice addition. And then one resting hand. I like that they all have that nice glove effect. It just doesn't look like a painted hand. You can actually kind of see where it would look like a glove. So those are nice and welcome. The other nice little addition that he came with is the voice changer from the movie. I'm glad he didn't come with a phone, because you never really see him, like when Ghostface is in full-on uniform, you never really see him or her on the phone. It's usually when they're out of disguise and the reveal happens. So, but you have seen them with the voice changer. So, has that nice 90s look to it, the old kind of like what was that stuff called back in the day, the old promo stuff. Now you've seen it on TV or whatever and all that cheap stuff. That's what I always think of when I see the voice changer. So yeah, nice little addition there. He does come with what's called a buck 120 knife, which I'm not a huge, versatile on these type of things. So if you guys know exactly what the buck 120 means, let me know down in the comments. I just happened to look it up real quick and saw that's what it was called. The blood stain on there looks great. Looks like it's been on there for a while. The silver on the blade looks great. Handle, guard, all looks absolutely spectacular. Next he comes with, of course, what slasher film is not going to be complete without a nice blood-stained kitchen butcher knife. I'm glad that they actually put the silver, well, it's not silver, sadly, but the indentions where an actual kitchen knife would be. The way the blood splatters across the blade with that silver looks awesome and terrifying at the same time. Lastly, hunting knife, cool wooden handle to just kind of set it apart from the other two. The guard looks great. Silver looks awesome. Again, blood tip at the tip just really adds to that nice effect of horror. The last thing he comes with, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I was super excited when I saw this when I was looking at the figure in the packaging, the scythe. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm pissed. And we'll get into why here in a second. Let's just talk about the paint apps for a second. The gray on there looks good. I'm glad that they added some dirt and whatnot to show that it's actually been out in a field and it's not nice and clean because, you know, it's a filled hand piece. Wood looks tattered. This is what I'm talking about. You know, you add those nice effects like that to make it look like it's been weathered and it's actual wood. That's awesome. Same with where, you know, the metal joints attach on here. Look great. Here's one handle, and this is where I got pissed off because I was anxious to put this in Ghostface's hand. So I started working the second handle in, and right off the bat, the minute I tried to gently whittle this into his hand, pop! This is a piss poor design flaw. And I'm going to say this right here and now, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. We as collectors, you know, we'll fix and mod shit because we care about our stuff and we don't want it to go to waste. But here's the thing, NECA, Hasbro, McFarlane, etc., so forth. We shouldn't fucking have to. We shouldn't have to fear taking our accessories and our figures out and them breaking right out of the packaging. Knock it off. We're tired of it. I'm serious. So yeah, I'm going to have to take some Gorilla Glue and get that sucker back on there. And it just, frick. Nonetheless, you know, you put this in his hand and you just kind of let rest it on there. If this happens to you, you can still get some shots. Just be damn careful. Other than, you know, jackass design there, the scythe overall is probably one of my favorite accessories. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the paint apps. We've just talked about how each mask has its nice uniqueness. Another thing that I will say, because this is a cloth robe, which I'm glad for, because if this was plastic, that would have sucked so much. You get a nice, you're able to move him around a lot more, which I'll get into in a minute. The one thing that I'm going to say that I'm thankful for in terms of the robe is some of the Scream movies, I think, is predominantly 3. Remember, if I'm wrong, again, make fun of me down in the comments. But the glitter, I'm glad that this doesn't shimmer like that. I always thought that was kind of weird and was more like a Robin Sparkles, which if you guys don't know what Robin Sparkles is, go check out How I Met Your Mother and check out the song Let's Go to the Mall on YouTube. Anyway, I digress. You know, you can see where it kind of sparkles, but it doesn't have like the multicolor effect to it. So I'm glad that that's gone. We talked about the gloves. I love that these are loose on the arms. I kind of wish instead of this, you know, around the wrist being wire, I wish that they would have actually just looped it and said screw it, but that's probably so it doesn't keep falling up the arm. It is what it is. And of course they have the cool little tattered little Halloween look there on the bottom. Got those nice horror movie looking boots. Jeans look awesome the way they're supposed to. Now what's cool is if you take the head off and you take his hands off, you can actually remove this. There's nothing really under here, it's just clear. Let me see if I can get this up. There's no design underneath, it looks more like one of those mannequins. However, as you can see how his legs, you know, his jeans are molded to look like cloth. The arms are as well, which I'm not going to pull up because this little wire underneath, this is a pain to pull his shirt up. But as you can see, because they decided to make the arms underneath look cloth, it looks more realistic in the way that the robe here sits on the arms. There's a wire in the hood so that when you put it there, it stays. And contour is relatively nice, and you can do different things with it. And of course, if this looks too pointed up and looks ridiculous, you can kind of push down and it'll go with it. So the design of the figure in and of itself, awesome. And I'm glad that they took the time to really make it look like Ghostface. Now, as for the articulation, there's a few surprises that I was not expecting, and good surprises for once, like happy accidents. So you can tell I've not had enough coffee today. That scythe keeps getting in the shot. Go away. The head goes down that much, and I'll take the hood off so you can kind of see what it's doing. It's on a ball joint peg, so you can look down that much and that much, and with the hood on, he still has that range of motion. Has a lot of play this way, so you can kind of get him looking like, oh, yes, you're going to play the helpless victim. Yes, you are. So you got that. Arms go out that much. And because this is a cloth and it covers the joints, you're going to have to, get used to where they're at. I'd suggest taking this off and then looking where they're at instead of ballparking it, especially if you use warm water to warm your figures up in. Don't put this in with it. Take this off and then just put the figure in and him by himself. That's what I did. And then when the water dried off, I put this back on, and now he's nice and loosey-goosey. And you see, you can still go 360. You have to kind of move the robe around a little bit, arm that way. And here's where I got excited, because NECA is usually infamous, especially with their older figures, of single jointed. I was not expecting to get a double jointed elbow out of this figure. So heck yeah, good on you there, NECA. The hand joints do 360, go up, go down. So awesome range there. He doesn't twist at the waist. It's up here near the solar plex. So you can twist them, go down relatively well there. Back crunch, so-so. Still good and welcomed. He can do really well splits, just whoa, which makes me cringe when I see that. Can kick out that far. And he does have a butt flap, so you can't go all the way back, but you can see kind of go to the side, which is sort of like, come on. His thigh joint, or his thigh cut, he doesn't have a bicep swivel, which I was like, oh, come on. But at least, arm spins there at the elbow, so at least you have that. His, just like with McFarlane, is hidden up here, so it can spin on the ball joint there. Just be careful, don't pop it off, because that's going to suck. And here's where I got a little frustrated. He has double jointed elbows, but then I guess whoever was designing this figure was like, yeah, man, we're going to do double jointed elbows. Forget the knees, we're just going to do single jointed. And it's like, come on. He doesn't even have a a boot cut here to move it here. So the legs are where it kind of goes back to the original lazy NECA-ness, as I like to call it. NECA-ness. Say that 3 times fast. NECA-ness. That just does not sound nice. And of course, he has the ankle rocker. Foot kind of goes up, foot kind of goes down. So paint apps, absolutely spectacular. Articulation, minus those few single jointed things which frustrate me, really well done. However, out of everything, the one thing I was excited for is the one thing that pissed me off the most. Go frickin' figure. I really did enjoy this Ghostface. As you can see here, he's getting ready to finish off the Marvel Legends Bonebreaker Darwin. I really appreciate that NECA Toys made this character a little more articulated compared to past NECA figures that we have gone over. However, one thing when it comes to NECA compared to, say, McFarlane or Hasbro, I'm sick and tired of little things, the scythe being the example. I go to simply put the damn thing in his hand and the handle pops off. That, to me, is some shitty, piss poor design, low quality crap right there. I'm going to have to get super glue. And, us being collectors, we do that because we care about our collection. However, we should not have to worry about things like that. That is a crock of shit, excuse my language, but it's the truth. I do appreciate the double jointed elbows. I love the vast array of accessories that it comes with, so you can do different things, especially with the masks. The zombie mask is awesome. I love the glow in the dark one, especially that little homage to Stab. So overall, excellent figure. Just if you guys pick him up, be careful with that damn scythe. I was really excited to put it in his hand, and that just really kind of killed the whole mood for me. Now, If you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, as I said, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick it up. If not, you can check out the places we talked about at the beginning of the review. Speaking of, if you have enjoyed the review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little scary movie bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading. Photo slideshow coming up next, and happy hunting, true believers.